Hey folks, thanks for checking out this video. Hopefully if you like Nitro RC cars, you'll like this. This is the 1/16th scale Losi drag Chevelle with a Traxxas 0.15 water-cooled marine engine on it. There's the radiator, there's the pump. We got two tanks. The one with the blue lines is for fuel. The ones with white lines is for coolant. Just a quick walk around of the cooling system. So we got intake from the tank into the pump. The pump goes out into the water-cooled head. Water-cooled head goes to the radiator. Radiator empties back into the tank. Cycle continues. The fuel tank system is just a normal nitro fuel tank, connected to the carb, connected to the exhaust for the pressure. For power, we're using the original 2-cell battery that came with the Losi. This is taken out of its hard plastic case. We're running an Endura brand 3-amp BEC for 5-volt out, and I really wanted to get the 5-volt out right because the fan, the pump, and the lights were all rated at 5 volts. I didn't want to blow any of that. Right now I have them unplugged because the cooling head is still drying. That has red RTV on it so that water doesn't drip everywhere. But quick update on the drag build. I've got coolant flowing. It's the first time I've actually ever tried to use the water pump, but it does in fact pump water. I'll try to make it into the cup here. Oh. Yep, there's the mess. So yeah, pumps water actually at a really good rate. So, well, messy as hell, but RTV on the head, and we're just gonna slap this bad boy on and throw it on the engine, let it cure. If I just plug it in real quick, you'll see the fan spin, and then you'll hear the pump go, and you'll see the lights turn on. So, pump runs, fan runs, lights work, headlights and tail lights. Pretty cool. Don't want to blow the pump with no liquid in it though. So, quick overview. Again, the Traxxas 0.15 is water cooled. It's 2 channels using the original SLT2 transmitter it came with. Unfortunately, I do not like this transmitter. It does not have throttle trim or throttle reversing, which honestly the throttle situation was a nightmare anyways. It's not like that changed anything. But just a quick front to back. So we've got this radiator, I believe it's a 60mm fan. I had to shave the corner of that down, zip tied, wrapped around the back, holding it on. We have the pump also zip tied onto the front shock tower, holding that on. This is a kind of a piggyback Y splitter for the pump system that also lets me run the lights on the body. We have the original SLR 300 Spectrum receiver. I peeled it up. It was sitting where the battery was. I peeled it up and stuck it onto the steering servo. Steering servo is stock, still works in there. Then we've got that BEC I mentioned earlier, running from the original stock battery. I did this because I wanted the capacity. The pump and the fans and the lights and the 3 servos, yes 3, possibly 4, stay tuned for that. They're going to draw a lot of juice, so I wanted to make sure that I had plenty of capacity for it, because if the engine is running, this fan and this pump needs to be running. Looking a little further back, these are dual HSP brand fuel tanks that come on like the little 16th scale ones that HSP used to build, like the Meteor. This exhaust is a Traxxas Nitro Sport exhaust with the pipe changed out, the inner tube piece. This is the original tube that Traxxas supplies with the Nitro Sport. It just wasn't quite long or flexible enough, so I replaced that with tubing for a Nitro V, also Traxxas part number there. This is the exhaust pipe for the Nitro Sport, and it mounts onto a factory screw location, so that was pretty nifty. The header's from a Red Cat Tornado 10th scale. The gearing is a Traxxas E-Revo 40 tooth, bolted directly onto the original spur gear, with a 16 tooth Traxxas Mod 1 clutch bell, and Traxxas flywheel and clutch components. The engine itself is mounted onto some universal engine mounts, just the little rail style ones with 3 screws in the bottom. You can see how many extra screws I had to put into the bottom of this chassis. That's 7. And then we have the throttle servos, plural. So actually one's throttle and one's brake. And they're running through a Y splitter. So when you squeeze the throttle, this is a rotary carburetor. So when you pull the throttle, the rotary carburetor slides forward. I've got that return spring back there on the engine, and it's just on this kind of big C-clamp with a bend in the middle so I can adjust the trim. Again, this transmitter does not have any throttle trim on it. Really, really, really cheaping out there. But we've got full throttle, no throttle, and then we have brake. Now brake, it just slides back there on the carburetor, and the actual brake itself, like most of my other 16th scale stuff, is a piece of silicone fuel tubing pressing against the clutch bell, and it works very well. Watch this. Full brake, and the tires just drag. So very effective on the brake. Unfortunately, it did have to be 2 servos. So I've got this little snippet of the chassis cut out and bent upwards. The servo is mounted to it with a single 3mm bolt and nut. The 2 servos are glued and then zip tied together. They're stout. I have a small support down here onto the chassis so that they don't move around when you throttle and brake. Everything works pretty well. And here it is ready to run. You'll see this cut out for the exhaust. I had to redo it, unfortunately, so I did cut a slightly larger section than needed. But body sits flat. We got the body post holes poking out, and it is ready to go with taillights and headlights. I give you, well, until I start it, I guess I can't say it, but really this is going to start. It's a brand new engine. So I'm going to call it right now and say that this is the world's first 1/16 Losi drag Chevelle Nitro swap. We got the water-cooled Traxxas engine so that we didn't have to cut a hole in the body for the air-cooled head, and it is going to rip. Of course, you know Traxxas sends stickers with their Nitro engine, so naturally I've got to make sure that ends up on the Losi. Powered by Traxxas, TRX Pro 15. Had to do it to him, as the kids say. So there you have it, 1/16 scale, drag, Nitro, water-cooled, Losi Chevelle. Thanks for watching the video. Give it a like, drop a comment down below if you have any questions. Appreciate the subscriptions, and share this with a friend who you think would be interested in it. That'd be appreciated, trying to grow the channel a little bit. We'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.